Hey, what's up, fellas? How you guys doing tonight?
Good, man.
Chilling, man.
Excellent, excellent. So, should we tell Ian about the monkeys?
You can.
Yes.
It is Tuesday after all. If you want to bring him up to speed on the Tuesday monkey situation, man, be my guest.
Oh, so Ian, I'm the resident expert on what takes place at Fort Detrick. Not really an expert. I'll qualify
Frederick
myself
County.
as such.
Okay. So wait, sorry. The last thing you said, Fort Detrick area, but you're a semi-pro.
So I was a fireman in Frederick for almost 15 years.
That's basic.
And there's a lot of crazy stuff that takes place around here. And so Tuesdays is the day that Fort Detrick burnt the monkeys that they did all the experimentation on. NIDIA, Fauci's brainchild, is actually out of Fort Detrick, Maryland.
I'm tracking. So tell me about these experiments.
So, I mean, I can't speak specifically on the experiments, but Fort Detrick has a whole lot of nasty stuff, buddy. It's a nasty, nasty place. And actually, the movie Outbreak.
Yeah. Dustin
Do
Hoffman.
you remember that?
Yeah, I never saw it, but I remember it came out. There was like a string of pandemic movies getting people prepped for COVID or something. I don't know what was
Honestly,
happening.
my first interpretation of this when Tiny told me about it, when I first came out of the show, it reminded me of the lab from Hawkins in Stranger Things, where
don't
they
know
were
that.
just working on all kinds of creepy shit and they didn't want anybody to know about it, local authorities, nothing like that, and they would just destroy all the evidence that they could to cover it up to make sure no one ever found out about it until obviously something leaked and now it's out there and now we're playing cover up after that.
I know that. I've heard that Lyme disease, Lyme, Connecticut. There was an island. What is it? That island off the coast of Lyme, Connecticut, where they were doing biological research, maybe, and that's where Lyme comes from too. I don't know why it's so close to DC.
They've got a bunch of these places all over the place.
It's just like the underground networks must be intense around here if they're willing to do all that super sensitive research.
So actually, Fort Detrick, going back to the LSD trials, Fort Detrick is actually very, very much so involved in that. It's also believed to have been involved in the development of Lyme disease. Fort Detrick, the movie Outbreak, was based on Ebola. Fort Detrick is a biological research center that at one point in time, there was only, I believe, 3 in the United States that were level 4 laboratories. That may have changed. It's been a little while since I've had to know anything about that specifically. But Fort Detrick, the anthrax. Do you remember all the anthrax mailings that was going through the mail after 9/11?
Oh yeah, very clearly. It was huge.
So, yes, Fort Detrick was the only laboratory in the United States of America that was in possession of that specific strain of anthrax. And it was the federal government at least said that the scientist that was working in the laboratory was involved in it. He conveniently committed suicide. But for a long time, they were draining the fire ponds around Frederick County looking for the laboratory equipment that he allegedly used in that process. Back to the LSD stuff. I can't recall the name off the top of my head, but we discussed it earlier with Shane. One of the scientists that was involved conveniently jumped out of like the 13th floor of a New York City hotel building.
The 13th
prior to
floor?
that, though, it might not have been 13th.
I was going to say, that's crazy because most hotels don't recognize the 13th floor because it's
I can't remember
a bad number.
Yeah. So I might have been wrong about 13th
Okay,
floor.
I was like, that is crazy shit.
Don't copy. I don't know why that's sticking out in my head, but anyway, homeboy supposedly jumped out. I wish I could think of his name right now, but anyway, all of that stuff originated out of Fort Detrick, man. Fort Detrick is a nasty, nasty place, bro.
I believe you. The anthrax. Thinking about anthrax being a government psyop is so just icing on the cake.
I like to think that it was one pissed off guy because a lot of these places that these envelopes were being sent to were people that they like supposedly were all fitting to an agenda of somebody wanting to get rid of these people.
It felt
or
like
cause
that.
hype or scare.
It felt like that, like a Unabomber situation.
They made it seem initially like it was like, oh, there's another U.S. sniper. Like, remember, we had snipers going around just randomly shooting people in public for no fucking reason for a while too. They made it seem like it was just one of these things where, these letters are just being randomly sent to people's homes. You could, it's like winning the lottery. Oh, whoops, I got some anthrax, now I'm dead.
Terror, yeah.
But it seemed like a lot of these victims were all playing kind of fit to this hidden agenda of some sort. So I don't know if this is one guy, a team of guys, if this is a government psyop, which would be crazy. I'm sure Shane would probably say government psyop all the way. They knew about this shit. But it's hard to say because there were so many pieces missing from that puzzle. And to me, looking back now, it felt like it was just another really, really huge distraction while another couple of, hash marks were crossed off the board.
What seemed psyopish about it is how it happened. And then this is like post 9/11, maybe early 2002 or something, or late 2001. It was like right after 9/11, shortly after. And it happened a lot, really in a short amount of time. And then it never happened again, never mentioned. And I'm like, they used it.
Mm-hmm.
You used the threat of anthrax and the narrative for a,
like a card in a magic
period.
Game.
Yeah, to get people really afraid so that we could take them into war. And then when Rumsfeld's like, when we go into Iraq, and you're like, what are you talking about, Osama bin Laden, Afghanistan? What does Iraq have anything to do with this? He actually said, when we go into Iraq in 2002. So, yeah, I don't know.
It felt very distractive to me.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything that you guys are saying, and I won't necessarily speculate on what the intentions were behind all of it.
Sure.
I just think that it's very convenient that a lot of this stuff originates out of the same location.
Yeah.
Like I said, Fauci's actual offices were at Fort Detrick. He worked at NIH and so on and so forth. And all of those things are just a hop, skip, and a jump down 270. Like the federal government is what powers the economy in Maryland. Straight up. That's what keeps Maryland afloat is the federal government. Between Fort Meade, Aberdeen Proving Grounds, Fort Detrick, NIST, NIH. Pretty much any type of a government regulatory agency, military, all the way down to just contractors. That's what keeps Maryland afloat, And so it does kind of make sense. Even, if you look even back to like Fort Meade is where Ed Snowden worked.
Fort Meade.
In Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah, so Fort Meade is actually the communications hub. That's where, I can't think of the actual agency they work for, but it's like all part of the Patriot Act, like where they monitor all the communications. That's where that spot is, man. Fort Meade, Maryland.
He was on.
It's right off of 295, the BW Parkway.
Yeah, Snowden was the NSA guy, right?
Yes, NSA. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They just centralized authority over there.
So that's a massive communication. That's like the whole part of the spy network of our government. Fort Detrick plays a massive part in that too. Fort Detrick is also not just biological, but they do satellites. Man, there's a big satellite field. It's a communications hub as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Slight tangent. I'd like to get what you guys think about this. I was thinking about moving our national capital to Colorado up into the mountains, so it's superiorly defensible. And
100%
using DC as like an eastern bastion is like our military, stalwart.
I'm totally down for it.
Yeah, because DC is like a hard to attack. It's on an island, kind of. Not really, but.
Yeah, from what we're seeing right now, it's being successfully attacked by leftists and all kinds of other shit.
Compared to like the mountains, it's super hard. It's super easy, hard to defend. It's like right there on the coast, so it get obliterated by coastal battery.
Yeah,
and but I don't know if you need it doesn't really matter where the capital, like what's the government, because I hear they run out of Colorado up in the mountains there. There's a secret, what is it, military base up in the mountains of Colorado. You know what I'm talking about? Colorado Springs, I think.
Secret base.
Yeah, Colorado Springs underground military base. This is like I'm gonna pull it up.
I was gonna say,
you got it too. Colorado Springs. You hear a lot
Fort
about it.
Carson.
Could be. But Colorado's known for having a lot of underground government activity too. But anyway, that's a little bit of a, what's that?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was just a slight tangent about maybe de-escalating the because putting all this value into an East Coast city and like having all our sensitive spy tech right there on the coast seems like a super vulnerability. Just if there's a global war, I don't know.
I would suggest the fact that we're able to talk about this is that this is not the only place that it's located.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I can talk openly and freely about the underground Pentagon site R that's up around Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. I can talk about Raven Rock. I can talk about the underground tunnel network that runs up the Potomac River. These things are things that have been known in this area for a long time. I mean, it hasn't been anything that's been necessarily publicated, you know what I mean? But these are things that I believe, just like Greenbrier out in West Virginia, that used to be a big like nuclear bunker type area. It's a country club, right? That's been declassified, and my personal belief is that the fact that you can talk about that kind of stuff is because they're maybe 2 or 3 iterations advanced.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're onto it. If it got uncovered in the 90s, they would have immediately started building a new one somewhere. I mean,
Yeah, and I mean,
scenario.
like Site R up in the underground Pentagon that's up around Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, like Blue Ridge, it's up around Camp David, man. It's all big triangle up there. But I can show you portals that go into the mountain that are along the railroad tracks up there, and it's rumored that that's part of like an East Coast tunnel network, and I believe that to be true. But regardless, the fact that was built in the 50s, bro. Like, I mean, I know our government sucks ass, but I believe that to save their own asses, they were working on stuff in the 50s that they knew wouldn't even been completed until the 70s.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Decades long projects for sure. I could imagine even centuries long projects in the right culture, in the right civilization. And like Elon Musk's Boring Company got, I don't know how many government contracts. It was like they talked about it, they showed that they could drill giant tunnels underground, and then never heard of it again. Like completely silent. Very rarely do they talk about what they do. I know they were doing something in Vegas and in California, maybe test tunnels, but like that technology, I imagine has been utilized by the government for decades.
Well, you know, kind of funny story. It wasn't that long ago that Shane brought up a story about an underground heat blob that was moving towards New York City.
Yeah, it was last week, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's going to take about 15 million
years
years to get there, but yeah, supposedly it's trekking eastward. Some mysterious blob of shit.
Is it like a ball lightning?
We weren't able to identify any kind of energies. It was just listed that they had found some kind of this just ominous ooze blob of something heading towards New York slowly, very, very slowly.
Underground?
Yes,
in the Earth's crust?
In a mountain or something, I think it was.
What the
and yeah, it was. It's apparently about 15 million years away from getting to New York, but it is on its way.
I wonder if it has something to do with the pole shifts.
And who knows how long it's been headed there? So who knows, honestly. But
15 million years away might be a little longer than what I would imagine it would take. But I'm just saying, like, if you see unidentified heat sources underneath the ground, maybe it's somebody tunneling. You know, just an interesting story, and I'll wrap up so you guys can move on to somebody else.
Sure.
You know, Kodak actually knew that the United States government was testing nuclear weapons long before anybody else did. And the reason why Kodak knew was because when they were transporting film, I believe to hospitals, I believe it was X-ray film, it was being exposed because of the testing. And they knew that the only way that could have taken place was because it got blasted with some type of nuclear energy. And they went to the U.S. government, and I mean, now we know about it. It's been declassified. But Kodak Film Company knew because they sensed something was going on. And maybe that's what's going on as well.
And it makes
just a suggestion.
That makes me think that it's going to be someone like Google or Amazon that blows the whistle on the AI weaponization. It's going to be one of these big companies. Like it took a big company to blow the whistle on the U.S. 20th century weapon of mass destruction. Now the 21st century weapon of mass destruction, the AI, maybe it'll take a corporation to blow the whistle on that too. That's interesting.
Very could be. Very well could be. I mean, Kodak played ball with the federal government, but I don't believe that nationalism is as deep in entrenched as it was back then in corporations. So.
Yeah, interesting new world.
But
what would a corporation do with that knowledge?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Just so I can jump off real quick. One last thing, man. The last dude was talking about fatherhood and addiction and stuff. Hey, bro, I've been there, man. I've been on at least what I thought was on top of the world and was down at the bottom, man. And I've got a pretty wild story. What I'm going to say about this is that find a community. That is what matters. You need community, whether it be AA, NA, church, like-minded cats that you can hang out with that can tell you like, hey, bro, you're stepping out of bounds. Check yourself, and that you respect. And that's the key to success. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'll wrap up with that, fellas. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for calling in, Tiny. We'll see you soon, man.